And inside tonight, the Minister of Finance scores government high points in its economic transformation agenda. We will bring you what he said and test if economists agree across the country. We have these and many other stories in the bulletin for the evening. Do stay with us.
Glad you could stay with us here on News Tonight. In our first story, 61 years after the establishment of the National Museum of Ghana, its development is not a priority to both past and present governments in this country. Odelia Diman-Prempe reports the museum is practically dull, always leaving patrons who throng the facility in a state of spectacular disappointment.
The Ghana National Museum in Accra was opened as part of Ghana's independence celebrations. However, the museum has not seen any major development since its inception. Only few artworks are on display for those who patronize the facility. After 53 years since its establishment, the facility, described as Accra's first high-rise building, is only gathering dust. Until recently, the facility served as a haven for criminals and squatters. Bustos Mark is a Nigerian tourist who made the long trip with his family to Ghana in their quest to find out what the museum has to offer. Bustos, however, says he was met with disappointment upon arrival.
The Ghana Museum Center is closed down. We never knew. Well, it seems it's beautiful, neat, but we expect the government will do something soon. I think we'll definitely come back.
Dado Robert is also a French tourist. He says he is shocked Ghana has paid very little attention to such a national asset.
It's class and that maybe after 2 years, I don't know, because from Burkina to here, it's a very long distance. Each time I come, I go to the museum. I like the museum. It's not so big, but there is some interesting pieces.
In other countries, museums serve as a major source of income where a nation's history and culture are preserved for posterity. As I left the facility, I kept asking myself why successive governments have failed to leverage the numerous potentials the museum has to offer. Are there any plans in the works for the facility at all? Well, only time will tell.
Now, scores of structures were on Sunday demolished at Nungua Farms in Accra. The exercise seeks to reclaim all Ministry of Agricultural lands currently being encroached on. Here's a report by William Evanzinkum.
Blocks, iron rods, and even pipes were not spared in Sunday's demolition exercise. Properties reduced to rubble because they have invaded government land. The story at Nungua Farms in Accra comes just a few days after some residents of Chado suffered similar fates. Barely 24 hours after the demolition, none of the affected victims were on hand to share their stories. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture is the brain behind the latest demolition exercise. Clemens, the leader of the task force, told GHOne News that the exercise was necessary.
Most of these encroached areas harbor a lot of criminals, let me put it that way. And you have individuals selling the land to empower these criminals in the communities. And that is a threat to even people living in the communities. When we come back to the activity at Nungua Farms yesterday, you see that residents, that is government workers living in their bungalows, have been asked out with guns to leave their bungalows for the criminals to sell the land.
98 acres of land have been cleared, and it has been earmarked for government bungalows. Nonetheless, the nationwide exercise will not affect all persons unlawfully occupying government lands.
The minister actually cautioned that there should be human face to the whole exercise. So what we're doing is he actually gave a criteria that heavily encroached areas nobody should demolish. There will be regularization. An inventory will be taken on heavily encroached areas, and then those areas will be regularized. They'll be given documentation. They'll pay something to government, and they'll be given documentation.
Some organizations and individuals are sometimes worried about how such exercises are conducted. For instance, Amnesty International last week expressed worry about demolition exercise at Chado and even questioned why the authorities wait for these structures to spring up before they act on them.
Having lived and dealt with neglect throughout his childhood due to his disability, Samuel Kwapong Dako has developed compassion for the less privileged in society, and is making it a life's ambition to cater for orphans and abandoned children in and around the community where he lives. Jatui, a farming community in the eastern region, is where this visually impaired man has made a safe haven for about 100 orphans. Patience Atipoka Atuya took a trip to this community and filed this report.
Located in Jatui, a small farming community at Eduejuri, on the Accra-Nsawam Highway, Eye of the Lord Orphanage is home to about 100 orphans. Children in the home, I am told, have either lost both parents or had to be taken from their mentally ill mothers. Kwapong and his wife have been parents to these children for about 8 years now.
But me she munemi hu se sa ankwala no eni obia ntina e kame se men so sa akwala no oni obia na nhwe se onya mienu a onim se men fa ba akonto na mayusu no bra obi ni bia ode be mame ana but o man ten kora obe spend ni nyina nti e san we nya bia no wa ye mobo ntina e hye me se men fa me problem no ento China.
What started with 11 children in his family home, Kwapong has since September 2010 welcomed and accommodated orphans numbering about 100, with a total staff of 15, which includes 6 pupil teachers, 7 caretakers, 2 kitchen staff, and 3 nurses. Kwapong and his wife rely heavily on the benevolence of corporate organizations for their upkeep. There are, however, days that they would have to find their own means to survive.
Teachers and workers and 15. But because do baby ana aketu ya semoni adie no nkrofo mu ane de tua won kan ti obi won so woni problem ansa na oba beboa wo na bosome so apeka kraman ti obi won na bosome ne so na we nya 1 month 2 months a unyama na obekra se bia mekwa ba o mebi obi so ho a sani obi akomane da yemu ne sa no no so e da ni mu ntini etibia no.
Most of the staff working in the orphanage see this as their own way of contributing to society, as what they receive as salary is nothing to write home about. The orphanage, which is in itself a school facility, has a 6-unit classroom block which comprises nursery to primary 6. 2 of these classrooms double as dormitories for the inmates.
There was 6-unit classroom block. Then a 6-unit classroom block in a dance, I mean, 2 big rooms me using as a dormitory. and I'll cut down so I may see 4 big rooms, a dormitory, may good length on the union. We are casting me track gable now. I am complete in the one at them should be best, will be young Adoma and I had it to us.
Just like any other child has dreams and aspirations in life, children in the Eye of the Lord Orphanage have dreams of becoming prominent people in society in order to better their lives and contribute their quota to national development.
But you didn't give us someone.
What did you say?
11 years.
When you're there, no person.
But you're president. But you. But you.
Wow. When you're officer, day.
Musicians.
Musician. What do you know?
But Japan's now started actually.
True. Dear, what should you be switching?
Minya me beye mayo. Now I see we if you mo. Watch I say muse mumuzana de bemamo. Minya me beye obeya mayo.
The home is appealing to government and corporate organizations to come to their aid to ensure the proper care of the orphans.
Now, away from that, an Accra Circuit Court has refused a bail application brought before it by counsel for 10 persons accused in the Kwabena cell break case. Now, according to the court, although the accused persons are entitled to bail, the refusal of the bail application filed by their lawyers is to protect them and the community. The judge has fixed March 9, 2018 for the commencement of the trial. Here's a wrap of the proceedings from court.
The presiding judge, Justice Abwaji Tando, said it is important for the interests of the state to be protected than upholding the rights and freedom of the accused persons, adding that the trial cannot also delay further at the expense of the human rights of the accused. The judge has further instructed the prosecutor, Superintendent Kweku Bempa, to round up his investigations on the accused persons for an expeditious trial. He has set March 9 to 15 to commence speedy trial. He has, however, advised counsel for the accused to prepare their witnesses ahead of the trial date. It is recalled that 7 suspected criminals broke cell at the Kwabena police station in January 2018. The 7 suspects were assisted by a group of armed robbers to escape from police custody, and the attack led to the death of 1 police officer at the station.
I was thinking that definitely the court would understand the direction we came from and grant them bail, because all that the court requires is that they come back to face trial, and they were going to do that. So I'm sure I'll meet my client again, and we might we might go higher and see if the court will be favorable to us.
2 others involved in the cell break, Prince Osei and Atakujo, are already serving 13 months imprisonment each. The 2 were convicted based on their own plea.
You're watching News Tonight. There's more ahead. Stay with us.
Your sleep. Do you really want to keep your job?
I try, sir, but always wake up feeling very tired.
Don't you drink Master Tea?
Master Tea.
Master Tea is a food supplement formulated to improve sleep, reduce stress, relax muscles, invigorate the body for good health and vitality, giving you a fresh start for the day.
We love Master Tea.
Now available at all pharmacies, filling station shops and shopping centers nationwide. Contact Medimoses in Accra, Kumase, Tema and Trazako. Master Tea, another quality product from Medimoses, not suitable for pregnant women and lactating mothers.
Master Tea invigorates the body for good health and vitality.
My Dear Rice, for special people, now available, Royal Dear Gold.
Jamie, therefore, ma yawo hui brings you. Na fe yemu so mo kwan.
Say the therefore say no.
What aroma? Manento nana say. Insu asem de mo ha na okra ye ba no. Ye de insu ba.
Adai. Se waba efie. Wa say yanyama mu nsuo nom no. Wo so di nsuo ba. Any say.
Nana eti amra.
Therefore, yesre wo. Nsuo we. Eye ahemfo nsuo a ye de afa mfidie mu. Asone so. Aye ne kroji. A Free Kingdom Beverages Limited. King's Drinking Water.
Baima. Nsuo ne de.
Edampa.
King's Drinking Water. Ba. Ene na King's Drinking Water.
Ahifusio de.
The Ghana International Trade Fair is back again. From the 28th February to the 7th of March 2018, the Ghana Trade Fair Company will be hosting over 500 exhibitors from all over the world for the 22nd International Trade Fair at the Ghana Trade Fair Center, La Accra. Come and have quality entertainment while you network to develop your business. Activities lined up for the 22nd International Trade Fair: Wednesday 28th February, opening ceremony; Thursday 1st March, regional day celebration; Friday 2nd March, high life night; Saturday the 3rd of March, country day celebration; Sunday 4th March, food fair and CEO's cooking competition; Monday the 5th of March, Cocoa Day and Intumadan. Then on the 6th of March, the biggest outdoor concerts. Come and enjoy your favorite local Ghanaian dishes at the food fair while you listen to evergreen high life music at the beer festival on weekends and holidays. The Kids Corner will give our children a treat with their favorite cotton candy, ice cream, bouncy castle, swimming pool, face painting and many more. Be part of the 22nd International Trade Fair. Join us from the 28th to the 7th of March at the Ghana Trade Fair Center as we trade and network in style and entertainment under the theme Industrializing Ghana and Creating Jobs. The program is brought to you by the Ghana Trade Fair Company in partnership with the Ministry of Trade, One District, One Factory and EIB Network.
Glad you're still here with us. This is News Tonight. Let's get into some other stories now. Now, there's looming industrial strike at the Sunyani Technical University in the Bono-Ahafo region to resist the amendment of the act that established the technical universities in the country.
The looming strike at the Sunyani Technical University is to force the Minister of Education, Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, to withdraw the amendment bill he has sent to Parliament to amend the Technical Universities Act 2016, which seeks to grant power to the National Council for Technical Education to perform functions which generally fall within the purview of the governing councils, the academic boards and the principal officers of universities in Ghana. Chairman of the Sunyani Technical University branch of the Technical Universities Teachers Association of Ghana, George Ejeni Mboaten, in an interview with GHOne News, noted that if the current bill is passed by Parliament, the operation of the NCTE as an advisory body would be affected.
We believe the amendment is inappropriate, and it is also a means that we believe will not give us academic freedom and also retard the way we should work on campuses to support proper research, learning and teaching.
Ejeni Mboaten is worried workers at the technical universities in the country are referred to as interim employees. He called on the president to rein in the education minister.
We believe it means it's a way of telling us that you are sacking us and possibly call for reappointment. We went through proper scrutiny, proper checkups, and therefore we don't see the reason why we should be rendered interim. We therefore believe that section of that amendment need to be what? Withdrawn.
Now, the National Blood Bank requires hundreds of pints of blood in order to save lives at our various hospitals in the country. So as part of our corporate social responsibility, GHOne TV held a blood donation exercise over the weekend. We'll bring you a quick playback.
Available statistics to GHOne TV show that the Kolebu Teaching Hospital needs 150 pints of blood per day to meet its operations. But meeting this target is difficult. Hence, anemic patients admitted at the hospital suffer miserable death due to insufficient or no blood at the blood bank to save them. To check this situation, GHOne TV, your best experienced television station, in collaboration with the National Blood Service of Ghana at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, over the weekend organized a blood donation which saw hundreds of fanatics of GHOne TV throng the Achimota Retail Center to participate in the exercise. Marketing manager of GHOne TV, Andy Akwetia, explained to the news team why GHOne TV embarked on the exercise.
We had a chat with the blood bank and we realized that they didn't have enough stock in there. And noticing that the accidents were many after the festive season, we decided that let's have one blood donation so we could restore blood back into the bank. Basically, that was the motivation to get that done.
Speaking to GHOne News, Programs Coordinator at the National Blood Service of Ghana, Kofi Tete, lauded GHOne TV for the initiative and emphasized the need for the public to donate blood unconditionally to aid operations at the premier hospital.
As a service, we are doing our best through collaborating with institutions such as GHOne and other institution to help meet this target, and we are so glad that GHOne of EIB Network is always coming on board to support so that people who need blood for various reasons can live.
Marketing manager of GHOne TV, Andy Akwetia, expressed optimism that the initiative has come to stay, given the responsiveness from the public. The second edition of GHOne TV's Lend an Arm, Save a Life project exceeded the 100 pints of blood target by 65 pints.
It is the second time GHOne TV is doing a blood donation, and we tend to be doing it every year because it's a corporate social responsibility that we have identified and want to be part of. We always want to make sure that at least there is blood in the bank, and that is the reason we are going to have a blood donation every year. It's going to be a yearly affair. It's not going to be a one-off thing. But it's the second time we are doing it, and we hope to do it every year.
Corporate bodies who partnered the event shared the rationale for supporting the initiative.
For UniCredit, we actually aim at improving the quality of life of any individual or SME we deal with or transact any business with. Again, for this reason, if you look at, we try to take up any opportunity that comes our way to be able to exhibit it. Our mantra is actually your caring partner, and in this regard we try to do everything to prove our mantra. Again, if you look at blood, it's actually the most precious gift one person can give to the other, and in this vein it helps to save life. In this vein, our main motivation is just to save life.
GHOne TV is grateful to all who sponsored and made the Lend an Arm, Save a Life project successful. Samuel Lancelot Barton, GHOne News.
Now, as more and more people are jumping on the popularity of Ghanaian dialect, Afrobeat act Romeo is not allowing the opportunity to pass him by. Now, the press unveiling on Friday, Romeo said his love for the Ghanaian culture and passion for music has led him to pursue a career in that direction. We have this coming up in EZO.
Romeo Kwame is not relenting in his efforts to break barriers in the music industry in Ghana as he strives to use the local language to his advantage. The new signee of the big family production says his Italian background will not deter him from making an impact on the industry.
I'm not really thinking about, now Ghana for better to send me musicians, and well, meaning say Ghana for a bit no permission. me to me ka say chinchina obi am pemasem sa pepepe. Nemo, I pray that Ghana may love me just as I love them. And I know that whatever I do, they will accept.
Romeo, whose singles, Domisa, featuring Yapono, is already making waves, has also promised to handsomely reward anyone who can flawlessly sing his entire lyrics.
You listen to my song, learn it, and then take a video of yourself singing it. We will give the one whose performance will be best, will be awarded with $1,000.
He added that though he has started a music career, his talent in acting will not be thrown to the gutters.
Music has always been my passion, along with acting. So acting and singing were my passions since I was in school. So just that I had a chance to develop acting before singing. So singing has come late. That doesn't mean that I will forget it. But I'm not going to abandon acting. I will just, let's say, improve the quality of my acting and the kind of movies I want to be in.
CEO of the big family production, Patrick Demens, said the crew is working to release monthly singles starting from March.
Best concert of your life? Don't just stay cool, stay refreshed with an ice-cold Coca-Cola for 3 Ghana cedis. Recommended retail price. Now available in zero sugar. Cheers!
I like him.
Yeah, he sounds very, I think it was weird hearing the, the
it rolls well on his tongue.
Well, it does. It really does. He's going to sell the country and the culture better.
Yeah, but he shouldn't take advantage of our system. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to go there.
Coming up now is Insight. And tonight we'll focus on the economy. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has told the media government has scored high points in its quest to transform Ghana's economy from an aid-dependent one into a productive one. He told journalists at a media briefing in Accra that Ghana is shifting its focus from taxation to a production-driven economy, and this is receiving very high levels of support from industry and the business community.
The Minister explained inflation has seen a significant drop from about 15.4% in 2016 to 11.8% at end of December 2017. He said government is not relenting on its efforts at achieving a single-digit inflation of around 8.9%. He explained government, amongst other policy initiatives, has disbursed over 91.5 million Ghana cedis to support the construction of factories under the One District, One Factory initiative. Other policies that have equally received adequate funding are the free SHS program, the Planting for Food and Jobs project, which has been resourced with over 105 million Ghana cedis as at end of January 2018. Ken Ofori-Atta said, with these policies receiving the needed attention from government, he was optimistic the president's vision of a Ghana beyond aid can be achieved.
Our expectation is that the type of resources we are putting into Planting for Food, etc., and the IPEP program, which will lead to supporting SMEs of 1D, 1F, will all lead to sustaining the non-oil sector.
The minister also noted government was tightening expenditure controls to minimize inefficiencies while preventing budget overruns.
And so what we bring you shortly will be some excerpts of the presentation that the finance minister made this afternoon. And you can see right there, it talks about disbursements that the government has made to support its flagship programs under the IPEP for 2017. And the very first program, you have the industrialization of Ghana from ground up. You have one district, one factory. 91.5 million Ghana cedis has been disbursed. Free senior high school, 205 million has been disbursed since January 2018. You have the National Identification System, which has been touted as one of the most transformation-driven items, equally seeing some disbursements since January 2018, about 126 million Ghana cedis. You have infrastructure for poverty eradication, 400 million Ghana cedis equally being disbursed for contracts that are currently being awarded. You have school feeding program, which has over 100 million Ghana cedis, and the scholarship secretariat, which has equally seen a disbursement of 100 million Ghana cedis. Now, to go into a bit of the details for the program, well, the finance minister mentioned that the transformation agenda of government will be hinged on, or has been hinged on 5 key pillars. The first pillar, you have restoring the economy to the path of stability and growth. You have the second pillar, which is transforming the agricultural sector and industry. You have the third pillar, revamping economic and social infrastructure. Pillar number 4, strengthening social protection and social inclusion. And then the reformation of public service delivery as the very 5th pillar that is underpinning the transformation agenda of government. And this slide here sort of gives some synopsis of the gains that the finance minister alluded to, stability within the macro environment. You see there reduced rate of prices from about 15.4% in 2016 to 11.8%. You have a reduction occasioned by fiscal consolidation and the tight monetary policy stance. And they have an end-of-year target for prices at about 8.9% for 2018. Again, he mentions that the economic activity appears to be picking up in the real sector. A major drain on incomes, which is inflation, has been moderating downwards. And they are protecting the purchasing power of the consumer. You see rebounds of inflation, you see interest rates, you see inflation headline, upper and lower limits, all beautifully displayed in that chart. But to get some perspectives on this and to try and understand what the finance minister has been doing this afternoon, we've been joined over the phones by John Gatti, who is an economist, and he will help us understand exactly what the finance minister has presented to the media this afternoon. Now, Professor John Gatti, good evening, and thank you for spending your time with us this evening.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Well, so my very first question, the finance minister alludes to the fact that they have tried to, move the economy from one that it was, based on taxes to one that is more responsive to production and incentives. How do you assess this? Is this the right thing to say at this particular point in time?
Well, I think the focus of government policy is to shift the economy from taxation to production. But we all do know that we're still having to do with taxation. Without taxes, you cannot mobilize revenue to run your economy. The effect of some of the removal of taxes are not reflecting very well in productivity. The upward or the momentum in productive activities in the country is not because of reduction in taxes. It's because of efficient provision of electricity, because the doom so has ended. Enough investment have been made in the energy sector. So that is basically the reason why we see revamped economic activity reflecting in the growth. It's also as a result of investment dividends in the oil and gas sector and the resumption of mining activities in the country. So those are the issues. We have not seen revamp of economic activity in manufacturing. That is yet to be recorded. These are the areas that I think most people will have to have a feel of the impact of the economic, the implementation of economic policies of the government. So I believe that those are the areas that the government should focus on.
But Professor Gachi, so you make mention of the fact that, industry, for example, has not been responsive to the tax reliefs that the government appears to have provided in the year 2017, for example. What will account for this? Why hasn't there been that level of responsivity, if you can say that?
Yeah, I think if you are having a vibrant economic environment and you reduce taxes, the business sector will respond immediately. That is what is happening in the U.S. Because of the structure of business activity, as soon as the policy was announced and implemented, you will see a reflection of that on business profits and also reflecting on bonuses and other payments to workers of those businesses. That is when you can say that this is the reflection on economic activity. And over a year now that these policies have been put in place, businesses are grappling with the same problem that they were facing before this problem was, or these policies were implemented. So we are yet to see the true impact of these policies on business activities in the country.
Well, Prof, I was going to say that with the background of our own peculiar challenges and rigidities in the economy, you might want to understand why businesses may not be responding to government's policies that it's putting in place for them. But for the sake of time, I'd want us to look at those priority areas government has picked and assess them for us. We have transforming the agric sector. We also have automating or reforming public sector infrastructure. If we could just put that back on the screen so we go through them quickly. But these are 5 areas the government is looking at dealing with. Those are the pillars the government hopes to work with. Going into the rest of its administration, we have revamping economic and social infrastructure and strengthen social protection as well. What are your thoughts about these 4 pillars that the government hopes to work with?
I mean, those are not any new things that we are doing now. In the previous government, we talked about some work in agriculture, social infrastructure, etc. But we want to see real redirection in agriculture sector. We wanted to engage in planting for food and job, which is a laudable program in the agri sector. We wanted to use that program to incentivize young people into agriculture. It is our aim as a country to ensure that we engage in value addition. What value addition is resulting from planting for food and job? How many young people that we can boldly identify have been incentivized into planting for food and job? How are we even measuring the performance of planting for food and job? The only way we are measuring is that we are funding amounts of money. That's not how you measure performance in agriculture. You need to measure it with a concrete evidence. That is not happening. But the point is that that program is an important program. We need to look for a new approach to implement that program to have the impact that is intended.
Well, Prof, unfortunately, we cannot go on, but we are definitely grateful for your time. Patrick, did you see the allocation for the national ID?
Well, yeah, quite a huge sum.
126 million cedis.
But they keep saying that.
But what has happened in that office?
Well, they are going to get it done.
Okay.
You shouldn't shoot the government out before programs get executed. Well, but that brings us to the end of Inside.
You're still here on News Tonight. It is the right of every Ghanaian child to be educated. But when the child has to go through physical pain to get educated, now that presents a challenge. Well, this is the frustration of 10-year-old Imoro and his colleagues at the Yikurugu DA Primary School in the Boko West district of the Upper East region. Here in the school, children in getting education end up with body pains each day they attend school. Why? Because they have to lay on their bellies with their elbows stacked to the rough floors in their classrooms for the entire 8 hours of study. Alizaite returned from the Upper East region with a story.
It is 8 a.m. on a weekday, and this is how the day begins for 10-year-old Imoro, a Class 3 pupil of the Yikurugu DA Primary School in the Boko West district in the Upper East region. There is not even a single desk in their classroom, hence they all have to sit or lie on the floor while the teacher prepares for the morning's lesson. Imoro's dream of becoming Ghana's president in future will not be realized easily, as he has to go through painful schooling. Imoro and his classmates study lying on their bellies throughout the day with their elbows stuck on the rough floor to support their posture while they write. I realized this is a painful exercise as I tried to lie on my belly too for some minutes watching the teacher teach.
Imagine having to go through this every single day of your life just to get education. I have been lying just like these children do every day, and I tell you, it is very tiresome. Don't you get tired when you put your arms on the floor like this? Don't your shoulders hurt?
Yes, it's hurt. We are getting tired and we are here and when we do this and the small stores and do it, and it will be, and your stomach also.
Your stomach also hurts?
Yes.
Imoro's class is not the only classroom with no desk. All other classrooms, apart from the junior high school, classes 5 and 6, have no desk. All other classrooms, apart from the junior high school, classes 5 and 6, have no desks. Pupils have to either sit or lie on the floor to study, making their uniforms and feet dirty at all times. When tired of lying on their bellies or struggling with elbow pains, they pause and sit for a while.
When it happens like that, and we will sit like this, and we will sit before we write. And when you are sitting, when you are writing, if you sit like this and writing, your stomach will be paining. We don't have chair to sit. That is why we lying down. If I'm lying down, my stomach is not well, and my ear.
You're well.
Teachers here are worried about the lack of furniture for tuition as the pain pupils go through have a great toll on their academic studies daily.
Reading in this environment is very, very difficult. At times, if you want to arrange their certain pattern, it's very difficult, like grouping them according to their abilities. There is no rule for you to pass through and monitor their work. Class is almost full, you don't know, flooded with human beings as they lie down on their bellies. So it's very difficult, and some at times complain of their elbow paining them, and then some will complain that, teacher, you are blocking my view, as they all lie on their bellies. So it's very, very difficult, and their necks at times also pains them, and they'll be complaining that, master, you let us rest more, let us rest more.
The Yikurugu DA Primary School was established during former President Rawlings' regime and has seen less or no renovation since its establishment. The school was expanded through the help of community members who found the need to have enough classrooms for children in the town to be educated. According to the assistant head teacher of the school, all efforts to get more furniture for the classrooms have proved futile, except a few, numbering about just 15, that were got through the help of the head teacher.
It is affecting them academically because when you look at it, if you have 3 people in the classroom, sitting on one desk, 3 people sitting on one desk, and others lying on their bellies, there's no way a serious child, are you getting it? A serious child will be able to cope up in class when he or she has no space to move about. And even besides that, they copy a lot because during exams, 3 people in one desk, how will you cover your work in such a way that the other sitting by you will not be able to copy? Though reading is our major problem too, but writing is also a factor. They don't have good handwritings. When you give them something to copy, they even feel tired in copying it because they don't have much space to move about.
Many other schools in the Boku West district face similar challenges in terms of furniture, hence our quest to find out when the problem will be resolved, particularly for pupils in Yikurugu to study under conducive environment. The District Director of Education, Cecilia Asibi Sumaila, explains that although her office has tried to get more furniture, the increasing number of schools in the area make it difficult.
For previous years, they've been giving us furniture in schools. But as the year goes on, the increment of schools, the number of schools have increased. So it's very difficult to equip all the schools with furniture. On the other part too, the furnitures that are always supplied are always broken down. So this is why we have a shortage of furniture in our schools. The funds that comes is always for administrative running. So it wouldn't be enough for you to, except there's an NGO that comes into your district and you can contact them with your needs, and then they help provide some of the furniture for you.
Article 25, Clause 1 of Ghana's Constitution states that all persons shall have the right to equal educational opportunities and facilities, and with a view to achieving the full realization of that right, a basic education shall be free, compulsory, and available to all. But this is clearly being violated by authorities in charge of the Yikurugu DA Primary School, since they are not being given educational facilities like their colleagues in schools in bigger towns. This saddens young Yimoru, who is however not discouraged from chasing his dream of becoming Ghana's president in the near future.
I want to be a president.
You want to be a president?
Yes.
Why?
Because I want to protect us and be handled us in this compound and all compound. That I didn't want to lie, our children lie, that we lie down on the floor.
The conditions in which pupils in Yikurugu DA Primary School study also defeats the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Until pupils in Yikurugu get help, they will continue to suffer severe pains each day, all in the name of getting educated. Alice Aite, GHOne News.
Now, you see, this is where it's not a failure of policy. This is just a neglect of responsibility by the Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service, the Member of Parliament for this particular area, the District Assembly. So every failure from central government to local government to everywhere. And people get paid salaries. And we have children whose education truncated completely. How is this kid going to get to senior high school to enjoy free senior high school? How is this kid going to get there? Policy makers, parliamentarians, everybody should bow down their head in shame along the policy value chain. We have business coming up with Kukuteme, who's always on the standby to bring us some refreshing business and economic news. Kweku, today, it looks like social is not helping us. You must bring something exciting from the economy.
You need some coffee to calm down, Patrick. The heat is on and Kemeni is equally boiling. I know her so well. When she's boiling, she would prefer to remain quiet, hold her barrels. But it's not too good and interesting pictures we're seeing as of this time. And I'll take you to Savelugu because I'm believing that when you empower mothers of maybe these young ones, it could change the situation a little bit. But their mothers are equally in a deplorable state. We'll tell you about how the Star Woman Project is empowering them shortly when we come back.
Business Brief is brought to you by Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you. We're looking for you, the next millionaire. We know of your stressful routine. From those 12-hour flights across the Atlantic to your hustle through traffic every day. From burning the midnight oil to that laptop that never sleeps. We know where you are in life, and we know where you want to go. Let us take you there. Thinking investment? Think Dusk Capital. Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Henry, what is wrong with you and your laptop? It is not working.
Hey. What at all is going on in this house?
Your son's laptop is not working and my phone.
Me kai me mo frabrim na me mama de me ko Freddy's corner enti ene eye manager se me di Freddy's corner ho adanse a kire mabusia na ade ba ko a me kai wo Freddy's corner eye se de wo siti wanim ejeji wo customers. Se eba mobile phone eba laptop papa camera papa ni PlayStation Freddy's corner aha enewo se ko ba to mobile phone say o camera say o laptop say and PlayStation me ha ho kra Freddy's corner be twa you go amount. Freddy's corner, your home of authentic mobile phones and accessories.
All right, so let's do business now. More than 40 female entrepreneurs marked the streets of Savelugu, while the women want the assembly to address urgent bottlenecks to their businesses and well-being. Well, the march was facilitated by the Star Woman Dream Edition project, a collaboration between the EIB network and Star Ghana.
The women wielded placards which screamed their plight for anyone who cared to read. They are seeking recognition within the community to end stigmatization, improve accessibility to funding, get entrepreneurship support services and commercial trading enclaves, and regular disbursements of their share of the District Assembly's Common Fund, among other needs. Municipal Chief Executive of the Savelugu Municipality, Hajia Aisha Tuseidu, who met the group, expressed her unflinching support and commitment to address their concerns. EIB Networks Group News Editor and Project Lead, Eram Basham, prior to the march, engaged the women in a mentoring clinic. The 3.5-hour training saw speakers encourage the women to see beyond their disabilities. Most of the participants were grateful for the events and commended the Star Woman Dream Edition team for such an initiative. The Star Woman Dream Edition project is spearheaded by Star 103.5 FM, together with its sister networks under the EIB network, with grant sponsorship from Star Ghana.
Let's do other stories now, and here the Auditor General's Department is in dire need of funds to enable it audit the books of government agencies and departments. What a request, according to the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevu, if not addressed immediately, could affect the government's quest to fight corruption amongst public institutions in the country.
One critical issue that has taken over our national discourse in recent times is that of corruption. And rightly so, because if we do not keep our eyes on corruption, efforts aimed at developing the country will not yield the desired results. The CPI for 2017 for Ghana calls for a renewed effort in combating corruption in our dear country.
I believe as a country, we have what it takes to generate sufficient revenue to provide jobs for our teeming tertiary graduates, and also to build sound infrastructure base for economic growth and development. To do this, we've already demonstrated it by increasing your budget towards goods and services from 14 million in 2016 to 19 million Ghana cedis in 2017.
All right, so the Vice President assuring the Auditor General that they would fund or resource them to enable them carry out their duties. Well, that's about all we have for you tonight in business. Thanks to Dusk Capital.
Business Brief was brought to you by
Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
International Brief is up next. Now we go straight to Nigeria, where the father of a 14-year-old girl who's among the 110 believed to have been abducted by Boko Haram has pleaded with the Nigerian government to act quickly. Now, jihadists stormed the school in the town of Dapchi in the northeastern Yobe state on the 19th of February 2018. On Monday, the Nigerian army released a long statement blasting Yobe State Governor Ibrahim Gaidam, who revealed on Sunday that soldiers had been removed from checkpoints around the town ahead of the kidnapping without his knowledge. The attack has revived memories of the Chibok schoolgirl abduction in 2014. President Muhammadu Buhari has said it was a national disaster and apologized to the families of the girls abducted.
Let's do some sports news now. Now, Ghana Premier League side Midiama Sporting Club has announced it will float shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange in a bid to attain some financial stability. The club's communications director, Patrick Akoto, reveals that the reason behind the decision is to open up the club to other interested parties. He explained that it is the surest way of restoring financial stability. He further stated that the club would be able to recruit top players and invest in modern infrastructure. The two-time Ghana FA Cup winners will be the second Ghanaian club to float on the stock market after Hasselhoek. The date for the launch of the IPO is yet to be announced. Well, that'll be all for tonight. We're definitely grateful you stayed with us. My name is Kemini Amano.
And I am Patrick Stevenson. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow same time.